Indeed knows finding the right hire takes time away from your business.
Hiring a qualified data engineer felt like a second job.
More job seekers use Indeed than any other site, so there's no better place to find someone with the skills you're looking for.
I needed someone with a master's in computer science and database experience.
Plus, Indeed screener questions help you find your shortlist fast.
Now I'm back to having just one job.
Get a $50 credit to give your first job posting premium placement at Indeed.com/credit. Terms, conditions, quality standards, and usage limits apply. Additional terms online.
This is the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
I'm Stephen A. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the latest edition of the Stephen A. Smith Show, coming at you as I love to do every weekday over the airwaves of ESPN Radio, 250-plus markets across the United States of America, plus ESPN Radio on Sirius XM Channel 80, plus ESPN Radio simulcast over the live national television airwaves of ESPN.
Those gray hairs that I see?
Are you interrupting my opening? Is that what you're doing? Yeah, it is gray hairs. What's the matter with that?
Hold on.
I am 51 years old.
Hold on. Hello? Yeah, this is Tex Johnson. Let me talk to Stephen A. Smith.
Ladies and gentlemen,
did you know it was me, for real?
Yeah. No, I did not know initially. You're crazy, man.
Stop talking about my Cowboys, man.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I
usually don't allow anybody to interrupt my opening monologue. But if you can't tell, I don't know what the hell is wrong with you. One of the biggest superstars ever in the world of sports, a 4-time NBA champion, a league MVP, the most dominant force we have seen in our modern day era, if not our lifetime, the one and only Shaquille O'Neal. Yo, man, those are some expensive glasses. That head is too big. Don't stretch my glasses, man.
I got it. Damn, you can't see.
Why we got to go like that? Why are you being so disrespectful on my show? Oh, my goodness.
You got the Cartier joints?
Yes, and you got to tell them my business, too. Everybody didn't know it was Cartier. Could have been Burberry. Could have been anything, man.
What's happening?
Can I do my opening right here? Can I get this out of the way, please?
Right.
The Stephen A. Smith Show, not the Shaquille O'Neal Show. The Stephen A. Smith Show is being brought to you by Credit Karma. Get your truly free credit scores and free credit monitoring from Credit Karma today. That's Credit Karma, Karma. And also it's time for Straight Talk, brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Best phones, best networks, no contracts. What's going on, big boy? How are you, man?
Good.
You all right?
You waking me up at 1 o'clock?
At 1 o'clock in the afternoon, that's waking you up?
No.
1 o'clock in the afternoon.
I don't get up to 3:30.
How long do you stay up until?
Don't worry about all that.
I got to.
Don't worry about what I be doing.
I didn't ask you when you get up. Okay, you volunteered, so if you're going to volunteer that, how come you can't tell us when you're going to sleep?
Don't worry about all that.
Well, listen, one of the reasons that you here is to promote Zepa.
Yes.
You understand? Cure snoring now.
Cure
Dr.
snoring.
Jonathan Greenberg, listen, he's my doctor too. The man that's phenomenal, who's done a great job for me to help me with my snoring. But how we going to get into your snoring if you don't want to tell us when you go to sleep?
Oh, I go to sleep, but I'm just saying I don't like getting up at 11, 12. Bro, you know how far I live from here?
How?
I live far.
How far? Why you move so far away from ATL?
McDonough, Henry County.
So why you move that far away?
I'm just saying because I got acres out there. Just like you got acres in New Jersey.
Why are you telling that? I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about, Shaquille O'Neal.
But yeah, Zepa is Happy Z spelled backwards.
Okay.
And I see a lot of big guys out there. Like that big guy in the front on the phone. I know you snore, big dog. So my advice is if you snore, go check it out because, you know, a lot of times when you snore and you have sleep apnea, you stop breathing that night. Right. And that causes a lot of other problems like, you know, heart problems, hypertension. So it's really a life or death situation. So at first I kind of ignored it too, but once I met Dr. Greenberg, and because I met him through Instagram, and he said, "Do you want to die?" And I'm like, "What? I'll knock your ass out. Who you talking to like that?" He's like, no, come to my side. I came in his office, and, you know, he showed me all the studies, and you know, because he saw all the people, well, you know, Sharif, you know, putting me on Instagram, snoring on. He's like, hey, you need to take care of that. So everybody out there, check out Zepa and, you know, fix your snoring and make sure you go see a physician because it really is a life or death situation.
And listen, it ain't just one of those advertisements or whatever. We're being very, very serious because I use the same doctor myself and I use the same device myself because what happens is, for those of you who don't know, when you're snoring, your tongue is basically falling back. It's relaxed and it's falling back in your throat. As a result, it's blocking your breathing passages. So not only are you not breathing, you're not getting oxygen to the necessary organs, particularly in your brain. And as a result, it can compromise you even if you do wake up, and we got to hope and pray that you will. If you snore and you don't do anything to treat it, you got to remember it's really debilitating you to such a degree that you ain't anywhere near 100%. obviously that's not your problem anymore.
No, not anymore. So
right.
Ever since I met Dr. Greenberg, I'm nice.
All right.
I might come back. All this money they passing out to these bums in the NBA.
All right. So what I
may come back.
Why you? Saying. You know, some people will look at you and they go like this. Damn, Shaq, why you got to be like that, man? Everybody can't be you. Everybody can't be dominant like that. Everybody can't dominate the NBA landscape like you.
I'm just saying I'm so jealous of some of these contracts that's coming out.
I know.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
If you were Anthony Davis and they're offering you 5 for $240, would you leave?
No.
And you can only get 209 somewhere else?
I would say this to you. I would say this.
Hell no.
I would say to you, no. That is true. And for those, let me tell a little history about you. You were once in Orlando.
Yep.
You were going to go to Los Angeles, which you ended up doing, but you made sure Jerry West and Dr. Buss knew, look, you got to come up on them funds. You want me to depart from Orlando to come to L.A., and they found those necessary funds for you at that particular moment in time, right?
That's business.
That's business.
So in Orlando, they offered me one price. L.A. offered me another price. I just took care of business. But if you can get the most playing, staying with the team, man, I'm staying.
So what is it? So what
$240 for 5?
That's right. But what about those?
What is that for all you smart people out there?
$240 for 5.
Somebody
you know
do
what
the
I'm saying? I mean, do the math. It's over $40 million a year. It's around $48 million.
Wow.
It's around $48 million.
I'm keeping that money.
No question about it.
In New Orleans, because listen, $40 million in New Orleans is different than $40 million in L.A.
That's right. The taxes in L.A., you take in the federal income tax and you add state income tax, it's about 51% of your dollars right there. Let me be clear. I already did that math.
And you forgot one person.
What's up?
FICA.
Oh. FICA. We don't even know what the hell FICA is still. We grown men.
Yeah, I don't know.
And adults, women. But let me ask you this question. Because when we talk about Anthony Davis, and we'll get into the Super Bowl and all of that stuff. Listen, we in the ATL Super Bowl 53. This Sunday night, New England versus the Los Angeles Rams. We'll get into all of that in a second and as the show progresses. But you know what? Listen, you can wave all you want to. You're on the show with me, man. Focus, okay? Here's the deal. I can get on Shaq like that. That's my brother. I can do that.
You didn't even see that, did you?
No, I didn't.
Where your glasses at? See? You got to pay attention, man. See, I gave you the fake out move and Bob took the card. See, you wouldn't have never even known.
So you're a thief.
See, I'm not a thief.
Okay.
That's not stealing.
Let me ask you, Dr. Fine. Let me ask you this question.
Go ahead.
Anthony Davis talking about going to L.A. What are the advantages in your estimation? I understand what the disadvantage is because you just brought up the money, the 5-year, $240 million he could get from New Orleans right now. If he went to L.A., obviously it wouldn't be that much. What are the advantages for him going to L.A. with LeBron in this day and age?
Definitely more TV games.
Okay.
More exposure. More wins.
Okay.
A possibility of winning a championship, but in my personal opinion, I still don't think they have enough for Golden State. Now, if you add Kyrie to that makes it a little bit more exciting. But listen, it's a bigger market. Well, the nightlife is better. Everything's better.
What about the endorsement opportunities to make up for what you left behind in New Orleans? Some would make that argument.
Well, listen, if I can get that plus listen. If you're a bad boy, you're going to get the endorsements wherever you are, right? Just because you go to L.A. don't mean you're going to get more endorsements. No, you may get certain opportunities like, movie roles and, stuff like that, but you really ain't going to be able to make that 240 up. 240 for 5?
240 for 5 years. Oh,
what's the math on that again?
Are you ready for about 48? And not only that,
40 what?
About 48. But do you remember this? Do you realize this? If he were to stay,
yes,
not just through this season, but through next season, do you know he could sign for 6 years at over $300 million, becoming the first $300 million player in history in New Orleans? Did you realize that?
I didn't know that. And you want to leave that? I ain't going nowhere. I ain't going nowhere.
But he ain't going to win playing at the Smoothie King Arena.
Sometimes you just have to listen. I learned this from you. You told me if you want to be great and want to be going down as great as you got to step up to all the challenges. That's it. So if you're not going to win. Learn how to win. You get on the phone and, get people to come play with you. But I'm not turning down the 240. But it's not me, that's him. I wish him well.
When we sit here and we look at the NBA landscape as we speak, it seems to be Golden State and everybody else. And once upon a time, I had a lot of faith in the Lakers. Now I'm obviously not so sure. I will say this. Oklahoma City has shocked the living hell out of me. Paul George looks like a superstar. We know what Russell Westbrook can bring to the table. And the fact that everybody seems to know their job and know their role seems to be something that's working for them. You don't consider OKC or anybody else in the West a threat to Golden State?
I do consider them a threat. But Listen, Golden State has been there. They've done that. They've dominated. You added another piece that's hungry to win the championship. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a tough series. However, like if you ever get in one of those series where Russell can be dominant and Paul can be dominant at the same time, mm-hmm. you never know. It could, may turn out to be a hell of a series. But Golden State, they just have too many weapons. They have a lot of weapons where their top guys don't have to have great nights for them to win.
Mm. Anybody in the East can challenge Golden State. Toronto, Boston, Milwaukee, Philly.
Not yet. Mm-hmm. Maybe.
I think Boston can.
Well, Boston has to play right. They're obviously having some internal problems. The young guys are not happy with their roles because it's like, hey, we can play too. So,
and Gordon Hayward, they tried to reingratiate Gordon Hayward back into the mix. I think he's compromised them to some degree. Not no disrespect to him. He was a nasty injury, has to come back. I think he'll be much better next year, but he just ain't ready now to run with those thoroughbreds.
I agree.
So to me, why is Danny Ainge and Brad Stevens insisting on playing the man? Because you gave him $131 million?
Something like that.
Something like that.
Yep.
Does that make you think Toronto can take the East?
Listen, Kawhi Leonard is a bad boy. I've always said he was the second, third best player in the league. He's definitely a bad boy. Mm-hmm. But the missing link there is Kyle Lowry. Mm. He always seems to, disappear during the playoffs. So hopefully this year, this will be his year. And I like Kyle. Yes. I want to, see him doing well. But a lot of times in the playoffs,
it's small.
You don't hear from him.
Yeah, no question. Shaquille O'Neal right here with Stephen A., ESPN Radio, ESPN News. So when we look at, before I get on to you, when we look, get off my comb, man. You don't need it. You ain't got no hair. You don't got any hair. Okay, here's the deal.
I have a question.
What?
If I get a man weave, would you talk about me?
Yes.
But just like little waves.
I would talk about you.
Why?
I would talk about you. Because what the hell you need it for? You got a big head.
Because I want my hair back, man.
What you trying to do? Be primetime Deion Sanders?
No, just wait. I want to look.
Are you ready for this? Can I take
you? Where's my man at?
Listen,
right there.
Listen, man.
My man right there in the Steelers.
I hear you.
Yeah, I want my
beard,
my
you ready for
hair.
this? Are you ready for this? I got something to tell you.
Yep.
Because it's going to make you laugh at me. You're probably going to call me out about it.
You got a man weave?
Do you know I'm thinking about going to hair club for men or something? Wherever Deion Sanders went to get the hair done.
I just seen him. He looked beautiful right now. He looked really good.
I'm thinking about it. I'm like this. How the hell he go from being bald to all that hair on his head? I'm considering it, man.
Yeah, but with the man weave, you can have your joint done about 3 hours.
No, I want no man weave. I want my own stuff growing back, man.
Have you seen it? They put they put like the super glue jammy and then they fade around. It look real. I'm gonna do it.
Really?
You better not say nothing.
You just haven't tried. Please.
I'm going to do it this summer.
Just stop. You lying.
This summer.
You lying. Why would you do that? You don't need it.
I want my hair back.
Why? What's going on? Are you having a midlife crisis that you want to tell us about?
Actually, I am.
Why? Why?
Listen, I'm always on the gram. So at first I was
rich, you're famous, and you call yourself big sexy all the time.
Listen.
So what's the problem? You were lying about the confidence.
I'm on the gram, and I seen the man weave the process how he did, and the dude came out looking good. I was like, I want that, and I'm gonna get it. And you better not say nothing. I'm telling you right now.
Of course I'm gonna say something, Shaq. Of course I'm gonna say something.
I'm gonna do it.
You know what? I'm going to leave it alone because you got some nerves telling me not to talk about you when you always try to do it. This man, Shaquille O'Neal, ladies and gentlemen, reaches out to me at least once a week trying to coax me into talking about somebody. I'm going to leave it alone. I'm going to leave it alone. He's always saying, get on him, get on him. Let
do it right now.
Say, no.
I got 100,000 right now if you do it right now.
No. I'm not going to do it.
Can y'all guess what we talking about?
Dwight Howard. Oh, Lord.
Oh, stop. See, get out of here with that. See? No, that wasn't the.
Leave it alone.
No, I don't.
$100,000. Shaquille O'Neal. That's you. It wasn't me. No. It was you. You always trying to get me to talk about. Leave it alone.
No, I don't. Leave it alone. Don't believe that, America.
Listen. Here's the question. In all seriousness, we watch a great show on television at least twice a week. In Shaquille O'Neal with Charles Barkley, with Kenny Smith, with the great, incomparable Ernie Johnson. What's that been like for you, man?
It's been fun. Thank you for coaching me every now and then. But, what makes that show great is they allow us to utilize our humor. Mm-hmm. We figure if we're going to keep you up at 1, 2 a.m. in the morning, we want to make you laugh. Charles is going to say what he wants to say. I'm going to do something crazy. And I just think it's a great dynamic for us.
I swear to you, in all the years I've known you, I have never in my life seen you laugh harder Then you laugh when Charles Barkley starts talking about them women in San Antonio. I mean, you can't help yourself. You won't. You always egg them on. It's just unbelievable. I mean, Charles Barkley, the only time that Charles Barkley almost fell out my chair, he was talking about the women in San Antonio, and he said Victoria is a secret. That's what he said. I almost choked on my Crunchberry cereal when I heard that one.
Then he said, they don't wear drawers, they wear bloomers.
He's ridiculous. Charles is crazy. But I'm saying, looking at your career, and I mean, what commercial don't you have?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
No idea what we're talking about. You do everything.
No,
you do everything. You're all over the place.
I'm not. Stop it.
Really?
I'm not.
Really? Have you thought about slowing down? When you gonna slow it down and fade into the sunset like some of these athletes swear they want to do?
Look, I'm already retired. I'm just happy to be in the place where I'm at, and I owe it all to my mother and dad. Just they always told me coming up, just listen, be respectful, and be nice. And look, I just love where I'm at right now. But if it does go away, I had a nice run, and I'm very educated. I have things to fall back on. And my thing now is just helping people, and that's why I teamed up with Zipa, because you don't want to see people have problems from snoring. So my mother always told me, make them remember your name, and I just want to make people smile and make people happy and make people laugh.
You've always been like that. I've always marveled at that about you. You got a great personality. You like to laugh and tell jokes, make people smile, but you damn sure weren't that way on the court.
Oh, no.
You were dominant on the court now, and didn't like a lot of people and just would abuse them on purpose. Yes. A matter of fact, you admitted that you lied on a couple of people just to get an attitude about them and to destroy them on purpose. Why would you do something like that, Shaq?
Because David Robinson was my favorite guy. When I was in high school, I tried to pattern a little bit of my game out. Because, David liked to run like a stallion. And when I was young, I used to like to run. But he was too nice for me to beat up. So I just had to made up that he didn't give me an autograph so I could be mad and just try to destroy him. And I did.
Yes. But didn't it bother you that you were on the court with him knowing you had lied on him and had everybody thinking that the Admiral was some disrespectful dude to little kids going to come up?
Every time I used to play against GP always used to do this. You know what that means?
What?
I mean, when I turn around with the elbow, I'm trying to knock all your teeth out. I want your whole mouth bloody. That's how I played.
That's how you play?
Yeah.
Do you feel or do you lament the fact that you don't see that in today's game with most of these players? Or do you think the league has stripped the players of that menacing persona about themselves because, obviously to keep the game all safe and everything like that?
Kenny made an interesting point.
Kenny?
Kenny Smith made an interesting point. He said that a lot of guys are products of their environment. So, for example, when I was growing up, I'm watching Ewing, Robinson, and Keaton, guys that played inside. So when I started playing inside, guys start, fading out to bring me out of the paint. So a lot of guys, they grew up watching Kevin, Tim, Dirk, and all these guys. So that's how they practice, and that's how they play. So I think, the days of the dominant post are pretty much done.
But what about the persona? Like, for example, I'm looking at a guy like LeBron, and, obviously he's considered the best in the world, but he get along with everybody. Whereas you had cats back in the day, whether it was you, even to a lesser degree, Kobe and others, y'all weren't trying to get along with people. Y'all were trying to destroy them. What does veterans, retired guys, Hall of Famers, champions like yourself feel about the culture of today's modern day athlete?
I mean, obviously it's different, and, the culture all around is, definitely different. And I try not to really mock the young fellas because they're doing it their way. And I remember when I came in, I did it my way. Like a lot of guys thought I was, out of my mind when I was doing movies and doing rap albums and all that stuff. So I try to stay out the guys, but the difference is LeBron, he does like everybody, but he competes at a high level. I think people enjoy watching him play, so I think it's okay. But
why did you just sit here and lie to the American people? You just finished saying you don't mock people. What? Shaq and the Fool is one of the funniest things on television.
That
ain't mocking people.
That's them.
That's you.
That is
it
them.
Doesn't work without you. If you're not mocking them, no. That's you.
Listen, they make the mistake. It's going to be on social media.
And you highlight it. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell y'all a funny story about one of the Shaq and the Fool. My favorite Shaq and the Fool moments.
The Otto Porter joint.
Otto Porter is playing for the Washington Wizards. He is playing defense. He is on the right wing. And on the Shaq and the Fool moment, evidently he forgot that he was on a basketball court defending somebody. The dude he was guarding ran all the way from the right all the way to the left link, and Otto was just standing there the whole time. So Shaq is laughing, and you know what made it so bad? You could hear Ernie Johnson screaming in the background laughing, and Kenny Smith, who's just the epitome of the chorus. We got to see that again. That was you. You did that.
It wasn't me. It was them.
That was you. That wasn't you.
They make the mistake, and I just re-show it to America.
How many times?
A lot.
Is it not a hit show?
A lot. Yeah,
is it not a hit show?
It is. It's a hit show.
It's good to see you, big boy.
Nice to see you.
Zipa, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Greenberg's right over there. Come on over here for a second, sir. Let's see this man on television here. Helping to cure me of my snoring, Shaq of his snoring. It's good to see you, buddy. How you doing? How's everything right here? Dr. Greenberg, for those of you who don't know, check out Zipa. Happy Z spelled backwards. He's right here with Stephen A. and your boy Shaq. You know what? I don't let anybody come on the first segment of my show, particularly sit in and steal my thunder. You know I don't do that. I made an exception for you.
Thank you. And you have a great-looking audience, too, by the way.
They do look good.
Yes, you guys
they do look good.
Yep.
They do look good. You know, I see the rings and stuff like that. I like that.
Who you like in the Super Bowl?
I'm going with the Patriots.
Okay, cool.
I might change my mind by tomorrow, but I'm leaning towards there.
Is Tom Brady the GOAT?
I have to give credit where credit is due.
If he loses, is he still the GOAT?
I think he still is.
Right,
9 Super Bowls, 5 championships. You know, I don't know what the hell Max was talking about, saying if he loses, you count against him and all that stuff. I wasn't buying that.
Hello? Yeah, this is Tex Johnson. Let me talk to Stephen.
Stop it. Trying to pretend to be a Cowboy fan. And why would you call up to defend the Cowboys?
I'm a Cowboys fan. I've always been a Cowboys fan. Stop it. Stop it.
Really?
Yes. When I was young, I wanted to be Ed Too Tall Jones.
Doc, let me tell you something. Yes, I want you to say it when I say this to this man, because I swear to God, if I was big enough, I'd put him to sleep myself.
Who's your team anyway?
Steelers.
The Giants?
Steelers.
Where you from?
New York. I'm a diehard Steelers. The first football game I ever saw was the Immaculate Reception by Franco Harris.
You didn't see that game.
Yes, I did. I was 5 years old. I was 5 years old. I was 5 years old. So you can remember stuff with your mom and dad, but I can't?
Okay. You're right. My bad.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
What was the score of that game?
I don't remember.
Yeah, see?
I don't remember.
Got him.
I don't remember. But I remember the Steelers won the game.
All right, cool.
That's all that matters.
Yep.
All right? By the way, I need to talk to you about because I need some jewelry because I like the jewelry you be wearing. You know, thank you, Doc. Appreciate the help with the snoring. Happy Z spelled backwards. Zipa. That's the product that obviously has got Shaq getting some nice, productive sleep. What?
I didn't know that we had a celebrity sitting in the – turn the camera around to the dude with the Charlotte jersey on.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, Stephen D. Smith? D. Smith?
Nope.
That's what he is?
Nope. Delonte West. Delonte West, what up, boy?
That's bad.
Delonte, what up, boy?
Get on out of here, Shaq. That was St. Dork Wireless, nationwide coverage on America's largest and most dependable 4G LTE networks. Thanks to Dr. Greenberg and Shaq for being up here with yours truly. 888-SAY-ESPN. That's 888-729-3776. Do you have frequent heartburn? Like the kind where you have antacids stashed everywhere in case it pops up? You know what I mean. You keep some in your bag or your desk or your car or your nightstand. You have those chalky tablets ready for whenever and wherever heartburn strikes. Well, listen up. There's an easier way to deal with your heartburn. It's Prilosec OTC. That's how. Just one pill a day will last a full 24 hours with zero heartburn. Kick your antacid habit. It's possible with Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief, of course. 888-SAY-ESPN. That's 888-729-3776. More to Stephen A. Smith Show, particularly with some Super Bowl talk in a minute, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN News.
Are you hiring? With Indeed, you can post a job in minutes, set up screener questions, then zero in on your short list of qualified candidates using an online dashboard. Get started today at Indeed.com/podcast. That's Indeed.com/podcast.
Let's consider the secret life of the innermost nesting doll. Living most of her life in the dark, inside the other nesting dolls, she has plenty of time to think, if she could. Sadly, she has no brain. However, when an innermost nesting doll hears that Geico not only saves people money, but also has been providing great service for over 75 years, she thinks it's obvious you should switch. Because yes, switching to Geico is a no-brainer. Pity the innermost nesting doll and her lot in life.
You're listening to the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
If you missed my opening segment, go check it out on demand in the Stephen A. Podcast, brought to you by the new Capital One Saver Card. Earn 4% cash back on dining and entertainment, 2% at grocery stores, and 1% on all other purchases. Hey, what's in your wallet? Plus, the Stephen A. Smith Show is being brought to you by mycomputercareer.edu. Training for a better life. 888-SAY-ESPN. That's 888-729-3776. You are listening live to the Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio, ESPN News. It is my honor and privilege to have my next guest on the line. He is a Super Bowl champion, somebody who played 16 years in the National Football League, 14 of them with the Pittsburgh Steelers. One of the premier linebackers the game of football has ever seen, and one and only James Harrison is on the line with yours truly right now. What's going on, James? How are you, man? How's everything?
I'm doing good, man. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you for being on. Always good to talk to you. Talk to me about this game right now in terms of how are you looking at New England, Los Angeles Rams. If you have a concern, if you're the New England Patriots, what is your primary concern going up against the Rams?
Oh, it's easy. McDonald and Sue. I need to find a way to give Tom enough time to get the ball out. That's simple. For that offensive line, they're going to have their hands full.
See, this is the thing. When I think about Aaron Donald, I think about how, I don't want to say he was neutralized because so much about the game extends beyond numbers, and numbers don't tell the whole story. But exactly. I think it's safe to say that when you look at Aaron Donald against the New Orleans Saints, for example, or particularly against the Dallas Cowboys, and Ndamukong Suh stole the show that game because of the pressure he applied up the middle, and obviously they were able to neutralize Ezekiel Elliott from running the football. But I think that had a lot to do with not having to worry too much about Dak Prescott throwing the football. Clearly, in the case of Tom Brady, you got to worry about him throwing the football. So my question to you would be this: Sony Michel, particularly, and to a lesser degree James White, how much damage do you think they could potentially do against the Rams, even before Tom Brady elects to throw the football?
Well, my thing is they're going to be doing the most damage from Tom Brady throwing them the ball, though. If it comes a point in time where they can't get down the field, the Patriots are known to take what you give them. If you're going to try and take away deep stuff, they're going to take the short stuff. If you want to take away the short stuff, they'll try and get to the intermediate stuff. It's just Belichick has a great understanding of what they're trying to do and what it is that he's going to have to do to make up for what they're taking away.
James Harrison right here with Stephen A., ESPN Radio, ESPN News. We haven't talked enough about Sean McVay, and the reason I bring that up, the coach for the Los Angeles Rams, is because throughout the last year or throughout the last two regular seasons, all you heard was Sean McVay, and what he brings to the table. Obviously, they lost their lone playoff game against the Atlanta Falcons last year. In this particular instance, they get to the Super Bowl by beating Dallas and then by beating New Orleans. But usually when we talk about the Rams and they're winning, we talk about Sean McVay. When we talk about them losing, we talk about somebody else. What about that matchup with Sean McVay going up against Bill Belichick? How do you foresee that happening?
To be honest with you, I feel like Belichick is a better coach. I don't think anybody would go against that. Sean is the young gun that's up and coming. But I feel like it's going to be a chess match, and I feel like the one that can come in, adjust to what is being done to them in the first and second quarter, the first half of the game, and come out and execute that will be the team that'll win.
James Harrison right here with Stephen A., ESPN Radio, ESPN News. When you look at the Rams, Jared Goff, how good do you think this guy is? And how big do you think he's ready for this kind of stage, considering the fact that not only is he in the Super Bowl, but a third-year quarterback is going up against Bill Belichick?
Yeah, I think he's ready. I mean, he obviously worked his way to get there. Up until the last few games of the playoffs, I was a little worried, but seeing how McVay adjusted to how he's using him and the things that he's doing to ensure that he plays a complete game, whether he's play action handing the ball or having to go and pass it down the field from start to finish. He's managed that and got him back to playing at the level that we've seen him play earlier in the year.
James Harrison right here with Stephen A. On behalf of Hardee's, by the way, talk to me about what you're doing with them during Super Bowl week, man.
Right now we're celebrating the 10th anniversary of my pick to the house, and we're doing that with a Biscuit to the House campaign. And if anyone in Sunday's game, either team, returns a biscuit to the house, Hardee's is going to give away free sausage biscuits on Friday, February 8th from 7A to 10P at 7A to 10A at all participating Hardee's locations.
Okay. Ain't nothing wrong with that. We like that from Hardee's. Make no mistake about
nice,
that.
Flaky, made from scratch biscuits.
And we know you like to eat, but you like to work out too. You like to work out too.
As soon as I get done with eating all these biscuits, man, I'm going to have to go ahead and hit the treadmill for a good hour.
Do you still work out the way you used to when you play?
Oh, yeah. I still work out hard. I actually just started my app. I just, opened my app just yesterday. It's Debo Workouts. You go to www.Debo92.com. I'm sorry, www.Debo92.com, and you register there and get your login information and all the workouts that I have done or am doing for almost 2.5-3 years. From start to finish. You start intermediate and you work your way up until you look something like me. You got the muscle, something. Steve, I can.
You got muscles out your ears, man. You got muscles out your ears. You look swole. And by the way, James Harrison, let me dime you out by telling everybody how you scared the living hell out of me. And, I spoke out of turn.
Hey, listen, that was real, man.
I know that. I'm getting ready to tell everybody this story now. I spoke out of turn, y'all. I spoke out of turn, okay, because I didn't agree with something that James Harrison said about the league and in particular Roger Goodell. Well, damn it. Me being all brave, I showed up to a Monday Night Football game with the Steelers at FedEx Field against the Washington Redskins. And I went by the locker room, and who was standing outside waiting for me? You know what I mean? This dude looked like, I said, Lord have mercy, what have I got myself into? I just want to, you remember that joke Martin Lawrence once told? He said if Mike Tyson was so vicious, Mike Tyson was the type of person that if you were with your woman and he did something to her, you'd roll up on her, whoa. What'd she do? You know what I'm saying? That's how James Harrison looked at me that night. But we ended up ironing it out. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, bro.
Yeah. We've been good since then. I bet you don't understand how long I was looking for you after that. Before that, I'm like, they told me he here. I'm like, he here? Right. I said,
That's
okay,
right.
yeah. I said, I gotta wait for him. We gotta talk.
That's right. Hey, but you got to give me credit for it. Most reporters don't show up. I did.
No question.
You didn't ask me to. I showed up on my own. I still don't know what the hell I was thinking by showing up, but I did show up. That's right. But listen, man, James Harris, I'll let you go, man.
All right,
Tom Brady.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. But hold on for a second.
Okay.
Tom Brady. We talk about this guy. Oh, he's got to go. I'm sorry. My bad. James, go ahead, man. Go, because he's doing some stuff for Hardee's, ladies and gentlemen.
Go ahead. Take off.
Last question to you. Tom Brady, is he the greatest?
Greatest quarterback, yes.
Yeah. Ever?
Ever.
Without question.
Without question. You can't. Before, I actually watched and seen him, how he goes about his way of studying and getting ready for a game. I would have said, no. I'd have been like a Montana type of fan, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
No, it's him. I'm sorry, it's him. I'm not sorry. It's him.
I respect it coming from you, bro.
Yeah.
I respect it coming from you. Thanks a lot, my man. All the best to you. I'll see you soon.
All right, thank you.
Oh, the one and only James Harrison right here with Stephen A. ESPN Radio, ESPN News. This Sunday, ESPN Deportes is your home for Super Bowl 53 in Espanol. With Brady and Belichick win their sixth Super Bowl together, or will Jared Goff and Todd Gurley bring the Lombardi Trophy back to L.A.? It's Super Bowl 53 this Sunday in Spanish on ESPN Deportes. Coverage starts at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm going to get it more into the Super Bowl. I really, really wish. I can't wait to talk. I like talking to the fans out there, too, because I see people want to get at me and stuff like that. I ain't scared of y'all. None of y'all look like James Harrison except you. There's one guy right there look like James Harrison. Everybody else, y'all don't look like James Harrison. You, maybe a little bit Aaron Donald. You know what I'm saying? Maybe a little bit. But you, that's James Harrison right there. I'm scared of y'all. But I'm still here. Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio, ESPN News. More to come in a second. By the way, relationship tip number 1. It's not going to truly feel like a birthday anniversary or Valentine's unless there's roses involved. And this season, the biggest and best quality roses only found at 1-800-Flowers.com. Right now, you can get a dozen assorted roses for $19.99 or upgrade to 2 dozen assorted roses for $10 more. To order a dozen assorted roses for $19.99 or upgrade to 2 dozen assorted roses for $10 more, go to 1-800-Flowers.com, click the radio icon, and enter code Stephen A. Order today and save at 1-800-Flowers.com, code Stephen A. That's with a PH, not a V. Hurry up. The offer expires Friday. Fellas, I'm looking at all of y'all because here's what I get from this. It's $19.99 for the assorted roses. for $10 more is $29.99. Your woman looking at you like, I know you, I ain't worth no $29. She don't even care about the flowers, y'all. Fellas, see, I'm the anti-Oprah. I'm looking out for the fellas. Okay, I'm looking out for the fellas. All right? And I'm telling y'all, don't buy her not saying anything. Don't think for 1 second that she's just letting it slide. She ain't saying anything because she want to see what you're going to do. And if you don't spend $29.99, she's going to look at you like, this bro said I ain't worth $29. And needless to say, you're going to have a very, very difficult and unpleasant Super Bowl weekend. Pay the $30. Have a smile on your face. And look at it and go like this. Hey! And give her the flowers. It might not work. But damn it, there's worse things you could do. Trust me on that. Back with more of the Stephen A. Smith Show in a minute.
Guess what? You're in the middle of the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
Damn it, I mean it! I'm coming at you live from the ATL, Atlanta, Georgia, Atlanta Convention Center, downtown right here, just a mile away, site of the Super Bowl 53 this Sunday night. New England Patriots going up against the Los Angeles Rams on a basketball front, as if the news could not get worse for the New York Knicks. Kristaps Porzingis, who has not been healthy, who has not played just this season, whose health essentially holds the Knicks franchise in his hands, because what free agent is going to want to come to New York if Kristaps Porzingis can't be on the court? And this man, who has not played a shred of basketball this season after that nasty knee injury last year, met with Knicks management, according to our own Adrian Wojnarowski, to inform them that he is not happy with the direction of the team. Duh! They keep losing. They've only won about 10 games. I mean, who the hell do they have? They don't have him. You drafted Kevin Knox out of Kentucky with the 9th overall pick. He's showing promise, but damn it, he's a rookie. And Donovan Mitchell, he is not. This kid Trier is a nice player, but nobody's going to confuse him with being D-Wade or somebody. I mean, the hits just keep coming. Meanwhile, in Brooklyn, New York, they've got a team that's respectable with enough cap space to potentially get 2 max players, which explains why I'm hearing that if Kawhi Leonard doesn't stay in Toronto, he might decide to come to Brooklyn, if not the Clippers. Kevin Durant may decide to stay in Golden State, but he might decide to come to New York. But who's to say it's the Knicks? Why come to the Knicks when you could go to the Nets? Kyrie Irving, if you believe those outside of his camp, because inside his camp they say he loves it, but outside of his camp they say he's looking to leave Boston. Why would he come to New York if Porzingis doesn't want to be there? Lord have mercy. Knicks fan can't catch a break. I'll give you one. Hour number 2 up next.
That's just a sample of what you'll hear on the Stephen A. Smith Show. Weekdays at 1 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Indeed knows finding the right hire takes time away from your business.
Hiring a qualified data engineer felt like a second job.
More job seekers use Indeed than any other site, so there's no better place to find someone with the skills you're looking for.
I needed someone with a master's in computer science and database experience.
Plus, Indeed screener questions help you find your shortlist fast.
Now I'm back to having just one job.
Get a $50 credit to give your first job posting premium placement at Indeed.com/credit. Terms, conditions, quality standards, and usage limits apply. Additional terms online.
This is the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
I'm Stephen A. Ha-ha. Welcome to hour number 2 of the Stephen A. Smith Show. Here with you for the next hour over the airwaves of ESPN Radio and ESPN News, 250-plus markets across the United States of America. Check your AM, FM dial, plus ESPN Radio on SiriusXM Channel 80, plus ESPN Radio simulcast over the live national television airwaves of ESPN News. Number to call up is 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. The Stephen A. Smith Show is on the road and being presented by Progressive Insurance. It's live from Atlanta for coverage of the big game. That would be Super Bowl 53 this Sunday. Plus, with the Vivid Seats app, it's easy to find awesome seats to any game. Download the app and enter promo code CHAMPS at checkout to get 10% off your first order. Ladies and gentlemen, as an aside, I don't know if any of y'all watch soap operas, but you do know that my character's name is Brick. I have a recurring role on the soap opera General Hospital. I'm on General Hospital today. You know, so Brick will be on General Hospital today. You know, you'll have to find out whether or not they let me put a hit out on somebody, something like that. That's what I'm aspiring to do. I'm a surveillance expert for the mob and mobster Sonny Corinthos. He needs my services. So I'm on General Hospital today and tomorrow, just so you know. But anyway, I got bigger stuff to get into. I hope this brother is on the line. I think it's official. He's the best tight end in football. I don't think that can be denied. He's a bad somebody. Unfortunately, he can't play defense, which means he couldn't stop Tom Brady when they needed to, which means that instead of the Kansas City Chiefs being here in Super Bowl 53, he has to watch it like the rest of us. But it don't take away from the great season he had. I'm talking about my brother, my man, the one and only Travis Kelce. Are you on the line, sir?
Stephen A., I am right here for you, big dog. I appreciate you having me always.
Yeah, what's up, big time?
I'm living as big as I can right now, I'll tell you that.
How are you doing that? I mean, listen, you had a great season. There's no question about that. Patrick Mahomes is something special. You're something special. But y'all are not in the Super Bowl. The New England Patriots are. How are you feeling about it as you've had an opportunity now over the last 10 days or so to reflect on the loss of the Patriots in the AFC Championship game?
Man, it's like I still got the flu. Ever since we lost that thing, man, I've been sick to my stomach. To be very aware going into the game of what they were going to do and not being able to capitalize in that first half. It's still, I got to figure it out so that next year we don't put ourselves in that situation to try and come back against what a dominant team that they really are and how controlling of the game they had the entire time. So, I mean, it's just you got to keep on moving, be a man about it, and figure it out.
It's interesting because obviously they held y'all scoreless in the first half. Do you credit their victory more to that than you do to the inability to stop Tom Brady in the fourth quarter and overtime, particularly in multiple 3rd and 10 situations? You thought it was the first half doldrums that cost y'all a victory more so than anything else?
Without a doubt. I mean, you can say D Ford, or you can talk about the refs and this and that, man. What you got to do is you got to go out there and you got to play 4 quarters of football. And unfortunately, our offense did not do that. Our defense saved our tail in that first half. I mean, it could have got real ugly. And what they did was they held them to only 2-score lead. We were able to come out of the second half with a different mind frame, had some guys say some things in the locker room that really got us going. Patrick Mahomes being one of them, and sure enough, we were ready to go. Hell with
that, Travis. Share what did they say at halftime? I want to know. You know me.
You better man up. You better man up, and you could see it in his face. Patrick Mahomes rallied that team to even have a chance to win that game, and I love him for it. He challenged everybody mentally, and they challenged their manhood and said, "Right now, we're getting our tails waxed right now." And sure enough, we came out that second half. What people don't understand is there has to be some sort of accountability for someone to say that and you don't take it the wrong way. I mean, you got grown men in there and a guy that was 23 years old telling everybody we're getting our manhood tested right now. And for everyone to respond the way they did just shows what type of leader Patrick Mahomes really is.
We're talking to Travis Kelce. As far as I'm concerned, the best tight end in the National Football League. Over the last 3 seasons, ladies and gentlemen, he's had 1,125 yards in 2016, 1,038 yards in 2017, 1,336 yards this season on 103 receptions. He's only missed 2 damn games, for crying out loud. I'm talking to Travis Kelce right here, the Kansas City Chiefs with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio and ESPN News. So as you reflect on this season, obviously Andy Reid made a call, and I'm certainly not asking you to comment about somebody's firing because I know all of y'all got love and respect for Bob Sutton, but I definitely think he needed to go because you can't have a defensive coordinator having a defense that struggled as much as y'all did this year. I think if you had grabbed Rex Ryan, you would have been favorites to come out of the AFC next year, but you got Spagnuolo as your defensive coordinator, who's pretty damn good in his own right. What is the expectation for the Kansas City Chiefs based on the year that y'all have had, what you know of New England, and what you know of the talent that you possess? What's the expectation for next season?
You know exactly where I'm going. We're Super Bowl or we failed, without a doubt. There isn't a doubt in my mind. There isn't any hesitation in how I say it. If we don't win the Super Bowl next year, we have failed not only our team and at our job, but we failed the community in Kansas City because they give us a whole lot, man.
You know, I'm listening to you right now, and I'm thinking about the AFC, and I kind of knew that the Chargers wouldn't get it done. I just knew it, Travis. I told you I felt that way. I just knew it. New England obviously cannot be discounted, but as we reflect on this New England team and look at this Super Bowl, handicap it for me. Break it down. How do you see the Super Bowl 53 unfolding?
Right now, I see a very, very motivated New England Patriots team. I think the way their season ended last year, they're kind of taking that underdog approach to where everyone might be doubting them a little bit. And that's fueling a lot of guys that have done it before. That is, that have won championships before. I don't want to say the Patriots just because I really don't know. I'm sitting here and I played both teams and I see a great defense on both sides of the ball. I see a great offense on both sides of the ball. And to be honest, it's going to take 60 minutes to figure this one out. I truly believe that.
But when you look at New England and how y'all played against them in the AFC Championship game, and then again in the regular season when y'all lost to them like 43-40 in Foxborough, you also lost a game to the Los Angeles Rams. It was the greatest football game I'd ever been a part of. I was standing right there in the end zone at Los Angeles Coliseum when y'all lost that night 54-51. It's one of the greatest, if not the greatest experience I ever had in an NFL game in my life. You look at those two teams, you played against them both. How do you see this happening? What's going to happen here?
Man, it really depends on I think the biggest marquee matchup that you're going to see is that defensive line of the Rams versus how well the offensive line for the Patriots are playing. I mean, the Rams got great playmakers all over their defense, but I think that front four, it's like nothing else. And if you look at last year's Super Bowl, I mean, that was the biggest matchup. Could they get to Tom Brady? And that Eagles defensive line was able to get to him. I think that was eventually the outcome of the game.
Travis Kelce, talk to us about one of the reasons you're joining me today. You want to bring attention to America's opioid epidemic. I want you to talk about that for a second.
Please, man. I'm teaming up with Emergent Biosolutions, and what they do is they are the makers of a product that saves lives. This opioid overdose epidemic going on in America right now. It touches my heart because the leading state where I'm from, Cleveland, Ohio. Ohio is the leading state of opioid overdose deaths, and it's something that I just want people to be aware of, man. The medicine, opioids, the prescriptions that you're being provided with from doctors. I think the lack of education, the accidental deaths that are going on in America, can be prevented by just a little bit more knowledge and education on what this medicine and what these drugs do. And on top of that, Emergent Biosolutions have come up with a product that saves lives. It helps people that are overdosing revive and get oxygen to them so that they can live. And I think it's a product that if you are taking these meds, it's like a little safety valve to have in your first aid kit. And that's the biggest part is make sure you go to your physician and you talk to them about the education behind these meds so that you don't put yourself in a risky situation of overdosing, man.
Travis Kelce, one of the best people that I've ever met in professional sports, obviously the best tight end in football as far as I'm concerned. And, oh, by the way, a man who should continuously be applauded for his decision-making. Please tell Kayla I said hello.
Oh, Thank you know so I always do.
Thanks a lot, my brother. You take it easy. You take it easy. All right. The one and only Travis Kelce right here with Stephen A. ESPN Radio, ESPN News. That's a little inside joke with me and him, his girlfriend. Lord, let's move on. I got distracted. On the line with us right now is the greatest cornerback in the history of the National Football League. He's a two-time champion, one with the Dallas Cowboys, before that with the San Francisco 49ers. He was a star in the ATL for the Atlanta Falcons, obviously. He's done a lot. He'll be in a second. He's not here yet. But you know I'm talking about the one and only prime time, Deion Sanders. When he gets here on the phone, okay, he's putting on the headset now. When he's there, he'll let me know. Trust me. That's what primetime does. It's a miracle because you got to understand, this show is in the daytime. Primetime is so large, he don't usually do daytime interviews. He makes an exception for his boy, yours truly. So he's going to come on the show in just a minute or so because he's got a 30 for 30 documentary coming out tonight. ESPN, 9 p.m. Make sure you check it out. It's being brought to us by Mint Mobile. As well, his appearance is being brought to us by Mint Mobile. So I'm looking forward to talking to Primetime. Are you there, Primetime?
And you know it.
Look, man. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause, please. The man, the myth, the legend, the two-time champion, the Hall of Famer, the greatest cornerback in the history of the National Football League, my brother, the one and only Primetime. What's up, big baby? How you doing, man?
First of all, I hate doing radio and I'm not there with you because your energy just feeds me. It just takes me up to another level, man.
Man, trust me. Listen, man, you got folks. They have me, they say, Stephen A., you're special. We got you in a separate area. I like being with the people. It wasn't my call, but it is comfortable over here. I must admit it. It is comfortable over here. Well, let me ask you this first. First of all, this 30 for 30 documentary that you're doing tonight is going to be aired on ESPN. What was the inspiration behind you telling this story, and what is it that we're going to learn from Primetime that we didn't already know?
Well, the inspiration was this thing has always bothered me. It had always ruffled my feathers to understand how can you make me to be the bad guy when my contract in baseball is over in July and it's October, but you made me to be the villain. And I'm trying to help you. And just the whole thought process behind a play-by-play announcer that didn't get his facts straight, didn't care to get his facts straight, and it frustrated my mama. And I acted out on a feeling that my mother had. Now, you know where we come from. If mama come home and say she bothered and she flustered, you got to handle it.
Yeah. yeah, because she's looking at you like, look, this really disturbs me.
And
I don't like the way my
did.
baby is being talked about and treated and what have you. And that just gets brothers riled up. There's no question about that. So basically what you're talking about in this 30 for 30 documentary, it's about you playing baseball while playing football.
Right.
And people having a problem with it and challenging you on that. And you're addressing the whole nuance of that particular situation.
Right.
That's what this 30 for 30 is about.
Because Tim McCarver and Jaron Sherholtz made me to be the bad guy. And I'm thinking, how am I the bad guy? And my contract for baseball is over in July. Then he went to say on that Eugene Parker, my attorney, who's passed away now, beloved attorney, had a handshake deal. You know, ain't no handshake. Who's going to have a handshake deal?
Right.
How are you going to have a
Not
handshake
you.
deal and business had not been consummated, and there was no business to consummate because in the playoffs, Stephen A., you know everybody makes the same amount of money.
That's right.
So what kind of business deal did we have?
Well, not just that. Primetime Deion Sanders don't do no handshake deals when it comes to business.
Exactly.
That's not you. That's not who you are. You want it in writing. Because you don't trust anybody whose name is not Stephen A. Smith. It just doesn't happen.
Exactly.
You understand? So listen to this. As you reflect on this and as you were telling this story, did you ever find yourself wondering or contemplating what life would have been like if you never played football and instead you had elected to play just baseball?
Oh, yeah.
What kind of player would you have been?
Oh, yeah. All the time. All the time. I mean, it was almost that way. I almost signed a full-time baseball deal back when I was with the Yankees, and something transpired with the late George Steinbrenner, and it negated the deal. It took the deal off the table. He got into some type of trouble before I went on to play with the Braves. But no, it was almost that way. And I always thought what would have and could have and should have. But I felt like the right decision was made because football was my wife.
I will say this to you. I never, ever, ever once contemplated the thought of you choosing baseball over football. Do you know why?
Why?
because primetime don't do minor leagues.
True.
That's how I viewed it. You ain't going to some small town in Alabama to play with no names in front of 300 people.
I did, and I loved it. I did, and I loved it. My growth process, I loved it, man. Albany Yankees, manager Buck Showalter. I mean, we had a wonderful team. I loved it. I mean, a lot of the guys who went on to be legends in the big leagues with the Yankees, we were on that team, man. I loved it.
Now, prime time. You and I go back a long ways, bro.
True.
We've done interviews. We did interviews back in the day when I had my own television show, quite frankly. And you remember when you came on that set in New York City in front of that live studio audience, and you started raving about the Atlanta Falcons? And I said, Atlanta Falcons. And you're like, I really did. And you talk about how you just loved it. You said, I really did. Man, I looked at you like you were crazy. Because I'm like, you love the Atlanta Falcons more than you loved being with the 49ers and Jerry Rice and those boys, or with the playmaker and Michael Irvin and those boys in Dallas. We right here in the ATL right now. You still saying that?
Yeah, man. Hey, something about this city. Steve, when you get off the plane, you can feel it. When you walking through the streets, you can feel it. When you at a restaurant, you can feel it. It's something about Atlanta. And you know why I chose Atlanta. I told several teams, don't draft me. You draft me, I'm going to play some baseball. Don't draft me, because I knew I wanted to go to Atlanta with the 5th pick. Because when I was in college and I came to an All-American function here, I saw African-American doctors, lawyers, political figures, policemen, writers, journalists. I had never seen such a thing in my life, and it blew my mind. And I knew I had a little ignorance to me. I had a little adolescence to me. Had a little unapologetic in me. And I knew I needed a city that would understand. And this city did. That's why I love it.
I must confess to you, when you talked about there was something different about Atlanta, my mind went to a more dastardly place.
I know
so
what you're talking about.
I appreciate you bringing it back to business. Thank you so very, very much. I appreciate you saving me there. We're talking to the one and only Primetime right here with Stephen A. ESPN Radio, ESPN News. Primetime Deion Sanders being brought to us by Mint Mobile and his 30 for 30 documentary scheduled to air tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, ESPN. Check it out. By the way, Primetime, did you know I'm going to be on General Hospital today?
First of all, why haven't you won even an Oscar? Do they give out Oscars for General Hospital? Because people joke with you, but their acting is impeccable.
Well,
so you got to get an Emmy.
I'm no actor, but I enjoy myself. Though.
But that's what you do. Your whole life is enjoy. When have you not enjoyed yourself? When? I've never seen you not enjoy yourself.
I do know how to have a good time.
Right. You know how to have fun. You know how to maximize moments, my brother.
And that's right. And I'm here in Atlanta. Don't think I ain't going to the next few days. Ain't no question about that. I'm partying everywhere. I'm tell you that right now. Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio. Obviously, Deion Sanders, Primetime. Let's talk about the Super Bowl for a quick second, Primetime. New England.
Brady.
L.A.
That's all you get to say.
Handicap this game for me.
Brady.
Break it down.
I don't need to handicap it. Brady. Okay? But I will. You know, because I'm an analyst and a handsomely paid one, I will break it down for you. Okay. Jared Goff didn't have a great second half of the season.
Nope.
Didn't have a great first half in the championship game.
Okay.
Very just adequate.
Okay.
The running game got them to this point right now. That's what got them there. Mm-hmm. This man is getting ready to look across the field and see a goat. And we ain't even on a farm. Mm-hmm. He's getting ready to look across the field and see somebody who is going to change up that defense to the point where it may baffle him a couple times because he's going to see something he hadn't seen. Mm-hmm. I want to know, can Jared Goff handle this kind of pressure? Can he handle this kind of heat? My conclusion is they must rush for 200 yards, and they must pass for 200 yards, both of which have never been done up under Sean McVay. But this is going to have to be done for them to obtain victory. 200 and 200.
It's interesting that you say that because when I think about Jared Goff, I think about a third-year quarterback having to go against Bill Belichick.
Right.
That's what I think about.
That's
See,
right.
when I think about Tom Brady, it don't matter who is going against. He's been around too long. He's seen it all. Exactly. And there's nothing that Wade Phillips can throw in his direction. The talent is going to have to usurp what Tom Brady is going to throw at you. But in the case of Jared Goff, not only do you have the talent of the New England Patriots, you have the mind of Bill Belichick. And by the way, Brian Flores, who's an African-American, is about to be the head coach of the Miami Dolphins. The combination of those two is why I think that it's going to be real tough for Jared Goff. To that you say what?
It's going to be tough. And I can't wait to see how he handles this pressure. But if they run the ball for 200 yards, he will be okay.
I will say this. I know it wasn't Montana you was with. It was Steve Young.
Yes.
But when you talk about Tom Brady being the GOAT, you did win a Super Bowl for San Francisco.
Yes.
After Montana left, of course. You did go to Dallas, and even though Troy Aikman's not in that conversation, we respect Troy because he's a 3-time Super Bowl champion.
Yes, Lord, he
is.
As
a quarterback, no question. But when we talk about Brady, it's really at that point in time where it's safe to put him above Joe Montana with no hiccups?
It's 3 guys up there, and I could close my eyes and grab one. Joe Montana, Dan Marino, and Tom Brady.
Dan Marino. Never won a Super Bowl, and we still put him in the same conversation
and that's right.
as 2 guys with 9 Super Bowl titles on their resume. That shows you how great Dan Marino was.
Yes, it does. Dan Marino was before his time, man.
Yeah.
If Dan Marino played right now, could you imagine what it'd been like?
I don't even look at it that way, Prime Time. I look at Don Shula at fault because you never got him a defense. He had Chuck Muncie. He had Mark Super Duper Clayton. He had, he had Mark Super Duper and Mark Clayton as well, and they never gave him a defense.
And Nat Moore.
That's right.
Why do you think I went and played 2 sports on one day, Stephen A? You think I was going to leave my secondary unequipped with an absentee prime against Dan Marino? What kind of teammate am I when I'm sitting on the bench for 9 innings hoping the pinch hit in the bottom of the 9th?
Right.
I'm sorry, top of the 9th. Rather.
Yes, top of the 9th.
Yeah. And I'm going to send him out there versus Dan?
No, can't do
that.
Oh,
no, I can't do that.
Can't do it.
That does not emphasize team.
But yet
it's a man on TV calling me selfish.
I got you.
I can't wait to rest my case tonight.
I can't wait. I can't wait to see it tonight. You know I will. Love you, bro. You know I'll be watching.
God bless
Appreciate you, man. Absolutely. We'll talk soon. The one and only primetime Deion Sanders, the greatest cornerback in the history of the National Football League, without question. A Hall of Famer, 2-time Super Bowl champion. Also catch him on the NFL Network because Prime definitely does his thing. 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. You are listening live to the Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio, ESPN News. By the way, what is it? Mr. Hines Ward. Brought to you by Hyundai. Hines Ward, former wide receiver for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He will be on the show next. So make sure to check it out. Don't touch that dial. Don't go anywhere. You're listening live to Stephen A., ESPN Radio, ESPN News. By the way, when you're hiring, you don't want to waste time sorting through dozens of irrelevant resumes, do you? You want an efficient way to get to a short list of qualified candidates. That's why you need Indeed.com. Post a job in minutes, set up screening questions based on your job requirements, then zero in on qualified candidates using an intuitive online dashboard. Discover why 3 million businesses use Indeed for hiring. Post a job today at Indeed.com/hire. Search for greatness. Search Indeed. I already told y'all. Hines Ward, Super Bowl champion wide receiver with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He'll be up next with yours truly right here on the Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio, ESPN News.
Are you hiring? With Indeed, you can post a job in minutes, set up screener questions, then zero in on your short list of qualified candidates using an online dashboard. Get started today at Indeed.com/podcast. That's Indeed.com/podcast.
Let me tell you about Pete, who loved hockey and always wanted to play in the NHL. Pete played since he was 3 and begged his mom to let him stay on the ice. Why, some nights he even slept in his hockey skates. Pete practiced and practiced until one day, when he was 47, Pete realized he just wasn't that good. So he threw his skates in the trash. But then he heard how Geico, proud partner of the NHL, could save him money on car insurance. So he switched and saved a bunch. So it all worked out.
You're listening to the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio, is presented by Progressive Insurance. Pick from a range of coverage options with the Name Your Price tool to find a price that works for you. Plus, for special occasions like Valentine's, 1-800-Flowers has the best bouquets and deals around, like a dozen assorted roses for $19.99. Or upgrade to 2 dozen assorted roses for $10 more. Y'all heard me, fellas. To order, go to 1-800-Flowers.com/ESPN. Don't make me tell y'all again. I'm trying to tell you right now, you don't want your woman mad at you Super Bowl weekend. Buy the roses. It's $29. Okay? You take out the uses or something, man, and you're going to spend more than that. Get her the flowers. Look at her. Hey! That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. Super Bowl champion wide receiver for the Pittsburgh Steelers, Hines Ward. Are you there, sir?
I'm mad at you, Stephen A.
What I do?
Man, you got me all across the town. I need to be face to face. Remember, I helped get you this gig a long time. That's how you repay me, man.
Hey, listen, man. Listen.
That's messed up. But you're supposed to be a Steeler guy. This is how you treat me. I got love for
you. You know that.
This is how you treat me, man.
Progressive is paying for all of this, man. They got me a desk, a studio. I didn't see you giving up that money when people paid you to be places.
All right. I'm sorry.
What's going on, big time? How you doing, man?
I'm blessed. I'm so blessed, man. Super Bowl 53 is going down here in Atlanta, my hometown. Good folks, good food, good people, and, of course, you got the great nightlife, you know. I wouldn't know anything about that.
Yeah, whatever. Please. Listen, man, you came here, you representing Hyundai today. Talk to me about what you're doing with them.
Man, you know, Hyundai brought me and Ed Reed together. You know, that's big things. And we sat in the car together. We did the Sunday night promo for Steelers and the Ravens, man. So that's the first time we've seen each other since we left the gridiron. But I'm really here with Hyundai to help promote their new shopper assurance program, to help make that car buying experience a little easier. You know, you have to deal with the slick talking salesman when you walk into it. But also check out Hyundai's YouTube page to watch their Super Bowl commercial by Jason Bateman. It's pretty funny there, Stephen A. You got to YouTube it, man. Check it out. It will be run, I think, the first quarter. Yeah, check it out.
I definitely
will. See, I got to pay bills, too.
Somehow, some way, I think you can afford them better than me. We'll get into that subject another day. Hines Ward, you know, we've talked a lot about this Super Bowl 53 encounter between the Patriots and the Rams. We've talked a lot about Tom Brady. We talked a little bit about Jared Goff. We certainly talked about Aaron Donald. We've talked about the running backs and Todd Gurley and C.J. Anderson. We've even mentioned Sony Michel. What we haven't mentioned enough are the receivers, and Edelman for the New England Patriots, or Woods and Brandon Cooks, a former Patriot, by the way, who's with the Los Angeles Rams. How do you see the receivers performing in this particular game?
Man, it's hard to go against Edelman, man. The guy has fly paper on his hands or something. Every time Brady throws the ball, he finds a way to come up and make plays, especially in the Super Bowl. He made some crazy catches when the Patriots came back and defeated the Atlanta Falcons. So I just remember all the plays. But Brandon Cooks, Robert Wood, those guys, man, great route runners. They just have a nice rapport with Jared Goff, man, the two combo right there. I mean, it's going to be a shootout, man. But anytime, I don't know, I put my money on Brady and Edelman. Those guys been there, done that, and they just find a way to get it done.
If you had to pinpoint specifically why the Patriots are here in the Super Bowl this year, what would it be?
Coach Belichick. The way he holds everybody accountable, even when they look vulnerable, Stephen A., they still had the number 2 seed. That's crazy. Even when and this was a down year for the Patriots. I mean, Julian Edelman was out the first 4 games. I mean, Gronk wasn't healthy all year. And Tom Brady, time and time again, continues to win with less on the field than any quarterback that I ever met in the history of the game. This guy just finds a way and gets it done. He makes everybody around him great. And, you know, I just don't see the Patriots losing 2 Super Bowls back-to-back.
Let me get this straight. You don't see Tom Brady falling off a cliff?
No.
Is that what you're trying to say?
No.
You don't see Tom Brady, his skills having dissipated. He's not what he used to be. Father Time has kicked in like some unnamed people from First Take that I won't mention. You don't see that?
No, because he doesn't have the weapons around him. So they have to – their offense changed. And you know Coach Belichick, I wouldn't be surprised if he put Sony Michel and James White in the backfield and spread everybody out and go just throw it 50 times a game. I wouldn't be surprised if the New England Patriots did that.
How can the Rams win this game?
You got to play aggressive. You got to play aggressive with the New England Patriots. You can't sit there and try to play conservative, run and on first and second down, try to convert on third downs. I would come out the gate and let them know and throw a bomb on the first play. But I think the key, though, is Aaron Donald and Sue getting pressure up the middle. If you can any way, disrupt Tom Brady, it's not the pass rush on the outside, it's the pass rush on the inside to get him out of his spot. If they can do that, if those two guys can be disruptive, the L.A. Rams have a chance to win.
Hines Ward, former star receiver for the Pittsburgh Steelers, former Super Bowl champion receiver for the Pittsburgh Steelers, right here with us on the Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio, ESPN News, on behalf of Hyundai. I got to get into a subject that's relatively uncomfortable, but I don't know of too many people on this planet who can answer this question better than you.
Yes.
What the hell happened to the Pittsburgh Steelers this year in your estimation?
Embarrassment. You know, I look at AB and great talent, and I'm not going to put this all on AB. Like, I'm not excusing his behavior, but I just think with AB, Coach Mike Tomlin, I mean, you're the head coach. You know, some of this falls on your shoulders. I mean, we have too much talent for our team not to be in the Super Bowl. You know, Coach Tomlin, we have a saying in the locker room all over the facility, the standard is the standard. But the culture in Pittsburgh that exists now is not the standard of the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's not. We're talking more about the Pittsburgh Steelers off the field rather than on the field. And I think that starts with the head coach. As far as I look at the Patriots and I look at what happened to Malcolm Butler. I mean, a guy who they just completely, hey, you came in late to a meeting, so we're going to take you out of the Super Bowl. But here's a guy who just helped you win a Super Bowl 2 years before that. But Coach Belichick, he ain't trying to hear that. He don't care. He holds everybody accountable. And I think for Coach Tomlin, he has to lay down the law. He has to do that with his own team. And then you take Ben Roethlisberger, who you do
That's where I was going.
You do a weekly radio show, and you constantly putting guys out there and criticizing guys. We had one rule. You had Jerome. You had Casey Hampton. You had Brett Keisler. You had Joey Porter, James Ferrier. We had one rule. It was pretty simple. Keep my name out your mouth when you're talking to the media. That's it. If we talk about brotherhood in the team, in our organization, and we're family, we're brotherhood. Come talk to me outside of the media. You can come talk to me man to man. Hey, I think you need to do this. Hey, I wouldn't do this. I wouldn't do this. You don't have to keep putting it out there in the media.
But let me ask you this question about Big Ben Roethlisberger, Hines Ward. Is it immaturity? Is it an absence of leadership? Or is it one of those situations where he is just scared to absorb his share of responsibility in situations like this?
I think that's the case. I mean, when the quarterback, you're naturally put in a position to be the leader on the team. But when you wear that C on your chest and the age, like he's on the latter part of his career, I hold Big Ben to a higher standard because you know better. You know better. And you got to rally the guys in the locker room because they look at what you do. If you go out there and you constantly week in, week out throwing guys on the bus, that's why the offensive linemen, they're criticizing Le'Veon Bell. Well, I make this much. He wouldn't make this because you open that can of worms when you start criticizing players and your captain is doing it. What are the other players going to do? They're going to feel like they can do the same thing. And I think for Antonio Brown, he was just fed up with it because at the end of the day, we as receivers, we're dependent on the quarterbacks. We can't really do what we can do if the balls aren't thrown our way. So when I hear stories about Big Ben said, well, I just won't throw you the ball, then that's a personal attack. Because then now you messing with the livelihood. You messing with my business. You messing with me putting food on the table for my money.
Right. So if that's
family.
the case, but if that's the case, Hines Ward, then what is do you have an issue with Art Rooney II coming out and saying that he doesn't see Antonio Brown being back here?
Listen. When the president calls your phone and you don't respond to the president who pays you a lot of money, you got serious problems. That's the first number that you pick up. You see, I got Mr. Rooney in my phone, and if he called me right now, Stephen A., I got to get off the phone with you. I got to talk to Mr. Rooney.
That's right.
And so for Antonio Brown to not respond to the guy who pays your check, that's disrespectful. And Mr. Rooney, he doesn't say much. He's not one of those owners that goes out there and talks to the public and this is what my team needs to do. He sits back and let the coach do their thing because that's why he paid Coach Tomlin. But when he comes out and he makes a statement like that, you best believe it, he's angry.
So before I let you get on out of here, is there somebody that has to go or does everybody stays if Hines Ward is running the show?
They are all grown men. Let's sit down. We 30 and above. We sit in the room and say, Ben, hey, I don't like when you do that. AB, I don't like when you do that. Mike Tomlin, this is how I'm going to run my team. I don't like both of you guys doing anything. Ben, stop talking about players. AB, stay off social media. It ain't about you. It's about the team. We got to buy into the team because that's the standard of the Pittsburgh Steelers. You grown men, sit yourself in the room, lock it out, hash it out, Bring a couple brewskis in there and talk. And then when you leave the meeting room, say, hey, let's go out and win us our 7th Super Bowl. That's what it's all about.
That is my sentiment exactly, because I'm here telling you right now, Antonio Brown's a bad brother. I ain't trading him.
He is.
I don't give a damn what anybody says. Where I'm going to find another Antonio Brown from? He ain't going nowhere. He's under contract. Don't give a damn about your feelings. Go to a therapist. Get over it. Ben Roethlisberger, do something about it. But I'm paying y'all.
Exactly.
You ain't going nowhere.
Exactly.
That's where I'm coming from. Hines Ward, appreciate you, bro. Is it fair to say you got the Patriots winning this game?
Yes. I don't bet against Brady.
I got you.
I don't bet against. I've seen it too many times.
I appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much, man. We're running into each other soon. All right. The one and only Hines Ward. Brought to you by Hyundai. Right here with Stephen A. ESPN Radio, ESPN News, 888-SAY. ESPN is 888-729-3776. This is the Stephen A. Smith Show on ESPN News, ESPN Radio. Gentlemen, stop lounging around. Be active. Take your girl out. Go to a game or a concert. Get tickets to something. Plus, the NBA season is heating up, and the time is now to jump on those tickets. On those tickets, For all your ticket needs, look no further than Vivid Seats, the official ticket partner of ESPN. Go to vividseats.com and enter promo code ESPN to get 10% off your first order. Get out, go have an experience, fellas. Get to the game and use what I use. That's Vivid Seats. 888-SAY-ESPN. That's always the number to call. Back with your calls to close out the show in a minute. It's Stephen A. live from the ATL right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN News.
Guess what? You're in the middle of the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
Damn it, I mean it! If you missed any of the Stephen A. Smith Show today, don't worry about it. You can listen to the podcast on your schedule, on demand. Brought to you by the new Capital One Saver Card. Earn 4% cash back on dining and entertainment, 2% at grocery stores, and 1% on all other purchases. What's in your wallet? Plus, get triple action protection for optimal engine performance with Shell V-Power Nitro, plus premium gasoline. Let's go back to the phones. Jack, you're live with Stephen A. Talk to me. Jack.
Yes, Stephen A. I just wanted to get your take on the idea that the Super Bowl doesn't contain the two best teams in the NFL.
What is that supposed to mean?
It's supposed to mean that the Chicago Bears are hands down the best team. And you can come at me with whatever
Can you do me a favor?
What's that?
Shut the hell up. You lost. You scored 15 points against the Philadelphia Eagles. You are in no position to sit up here and call here and make that asinine statement. If you were the New Orleans Saints and your position was they got robbed, that would have been a different argument, even though it would have still been irrelevant. But you don't get to call up here and say that the Chicago Bears, who hasn't won a Super Bowl since 1985, was the best team in football. That's asinine. Hang up, get some sense, and call me back tomorrow. Goodbye. Let's go to Scott. You're live with Stephen A. What's up?
Hey, Stephen A. Thank you for taking the call.
Go ahead.
I'm hearing a little bit too much about this free agency. And I think what owners are doing, what fans are doing, is they're looking at the big marquee names available in this free agency class, which they're amazing. They're hands down some of the best players that ever played. But there are players that they're just slipping through. I'm talking about players like Tobias Harris. I'm talking about Nikolai Vucevic. Those are prime-time premier players who are having career seasons.
Let me stop you right there, because your point is annoying me. Because what you're saying is you have marginal or if not better than average players who can help you win a championship. Of course, that's the truth. That's why they're on the court. But the marquee superstars somehow find a way. LeBron, Steph Curry and the crew, Shaq and Kobe, Tim Duncan. Okay, you look at various teams who've won championships, D. Wade and LeBron, the big three in San Antonio, L.A., okay, in the 90s, Jordan, all right, in the 80s, the Bad Boys, plus the Lakers, plus the Celtics with Larry Bird and the crew. You need stars to win championships. They're helped by better than average players, but you need the stars. Educate yourself. I'll holler at y'all in 22 hours. Until then.
That's just a sample of what you'll hear on the Stephen A. Smith Show. Weekdays at 1 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.